Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? What's up, chat? We got Trail Dust, Ben Toombs, and Jack Pines, and Alexa Sullivan, and others filtering in. Good morning, good morning. Um, Bortagov, how you doing? So, yeah, I suppose we can, bump right into the, how was your week? And, you know, we'll move on to the very confusing title down here. What's up, Robert? And let y'all know what's up, or we'll discuss amongst ourselves what's up.
Because yeah. I mean, this me and Yamez had a discussion after the show last week, and it was just like it was basically a discussion of disappointment on both of our parts, and not in each other or anything like that. Just kind of the way things go in general. Um. Anyways, my week has been shitty. I haven't worked in 10 days, so I've been sitting around going crazy. It would be a
Moping.
lot easier. It would be a lot easier if I was still an alcoholic, but considering now I'm just like a coffee and tea and water and Soylent kind of person. Um, I mean, I have a beer every now and then, but I don't just get sloshed like I used to, and actually been pretty good for my blood pressure and I've been losing weight. I mean, it's actually not a bad thing, but it does make life less interesting, so to speak. I don't wake up every morning going, "Oh God, what the fuck did I say last night?" Oh Jesus! But in any case, no, I've been sitting around here. Like I played Minecraft for 19 hours straight yesterday. That's all I
Sounds like a
did.
day to
I
me.
sat here. I sat here and played Minecraft Ultra Flat all day, till midnight last o'clock in the morning. I don't know. It was super late, and I was I was getting delirious just because I was so tired. But I was like, "Oh, I got to do this one more project. Oh, I got to do this one more. Oh, I got to get this done." And then finally, I was like, "All right, screw this. I'm going to bed." And anyways, so last week we me and Yamas were discussing, um, like the show, what we got going on here right now has become like a job, and both of us have been feeling as of late like it's like, oh God, I got to do this. Ugh, this sucks, and I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like for the last all of this year, I've been phoning it in because I have zero interest in what we're talking about. It's boring to me. It's a waste of my time. I feel like, and I honestly feel like it's just not interesting. It's just like we're talking about like beginner level stuff that nobody in here is a beginner. Nobody has been a beginner in years. I mean, hell, all of you guys have been, with the exception of maybe one person. All of you guys have been here for the better part of half a decade, and at least in this, and it's not. It's for me. It's not that information isn't wonderful. It is, but there's so many better places to get that information than us. I mean, Black Bear Forge, Christ Centered Ironworks. I mean, these people do amazing beginner level stuff and discussions, and Jack, please. Uh, okay, yeah, I guess for some of us, it's I mean, whatever. But I don't know. I mean, like we were just kind of. I'm kind of frustrated because I have to show up here every Sunday and participate in something that just doesn't interest me, that I don't find exciting, that I feel like is a chore, and I think we need to change it up because if I don't want to be here, why am I here? And we need to kind of take this a different direction. I mean, uh, what you guys don't know is that we usually check in about an hour before the show, and me and Yamez and Adam, we chit chat back and forth. We tell each other about our week and about the stuff that we don't necessarily talk about on the podcast. Yamez will give us a half-hour rundown on what's going on in the crypto community, and we just kind of mentally check out while he's talking. Adam tells us all about mowing for a half an hour, and
Screw you.
and but
Bite me.
But to be fair, I mean, those are actually our conversations in pre-show are actually kind of entertaining because we do just kind of go at each other and bust each other's
It's
balls,
three.
and
It's three friends
whether we have
goofing
to or not.
around.
Yeah, it's just it's three of us just screwing around, having a conversation, having a good time, and getting ready to okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? How are we gonna do it? Kevin, what are you doing? Okay, let's do this, and then we go live, and then we put on a shitty ass show, and so and that's no offense to any of my co-hosts at all. I mean, like it's just from my point of view what we're doing has not been interesting since
The Roman
since
Empire.
honestly Egypt and Rome were the last times I really gave a shit. Uh, um, and I'm sorry, but I mean that's just the way I feel. And I mean if you don't like it, you can fuck right off. I mean there's that. But morning, Clara. Glad you could make it. Um, whatever. So that's why I popped into the Discord last night and I mentioned, hey, when you check in for pre-show, don't say shit. We're not going to have a discussion. We're not going to talk about nothing. Let's just save it. We'll talk about it during the show, and that way we're fresh, and all of this information that you guys are hearing is fresh for us as well.
It's
Because when we
unfiltered.
have a discussion, yeah, because it's unfiltered. Because when we have this discussion, and then we try to have it again on, when we're live, it loses its sincerity, it loses its freshness, it loses its authentic reactions, and that's disappointing to me because I honestly think some of our best material happens when before you guys are even part of the conversation. So um, that's all I got. That's kind of an explanation of where we're at today, and we need to discuss amongst ourselves how we're going to keep this interesting, how we're going to make this interesting, how we're going to keep you guys engaged, and uh, part of and want to keep coming back. I mean, like we've
And our
we've
points of
this,
views.
yeah, I mean, like we've slowly dwindled this thing down from 80 people to like 6 or 7, and it's just like it's like nobody wants to be here. uh, Shit. So, Yamez or Adam, I mean, when y'all
That
give me
that
your
was a
take.
hell. That was a hell of a. How was your week? You know.
What I took away from that is Alexis, you haven't done any forging this week, even though you haven't been working.
I actually have.
What'd you do? That's what
Um,
I want to know what you did.
yeah, I made so the trucks we have here have these like big ass brackets on them that used to be for holding the tablet, for your electronic logs. Well, all of these brackets broke like years ago, and so they're just hanging out there. And what I built was little. I took pieces of crane boom tubing, opened it up, flattened it out, made like 1/8 inch plate or probably smaller than 1/8 inch, but 3/6. I don't know.
Yeah.
So what's in
Plate
between?
size.
What's in between a 16th and an eighth? I don't know.
32nd.
2/16.
I
No.
work in metric. I got no fucking idea.
No, I don't know. It's like maybe 1 mil. All right. I don't know. Anyways, so I flattened two pieces of this out and then bent it to so it's like a kind of an L shape, but just a short little bottom piece. And then I notched the bottom piece and I drilled a hole in it so that I can screw this plate because I have two trucks that are assigned to me. I built one for each truck so I can screw it into this bracket that's attached to the dash. And then my phone, wherever the hell, oh, here it is. My phone has got magnets in the phone case, and so it'll just stick to metal. And so I'm going to. So basically, what I did was I built brackets that my phone will magnetize to in the truck, and it doesn't. My phone doesn't bounce around on one whatever. So that's what I built. And I notched it for the cord, and yeah, I built one for each truck. And I started working on a wrought iron split cross out of that wrought iron that I got from you there, Yamez,
Hmm.
the 3/4. I think it's 3/4 square or whatever.
Yeah, roughly.
I Yeah, I got about halfway through cutting it, and then the blade broke on my bandsaw, and then I took my angle grinder and I got some pretty good deep notches in it, and that was just taking way too long. So then I heated up and I finished splitting it with a chisel, and I opened it up, and then I started fishtailing the bottoms so that I could split it into four pieces, and I'm going to do scrolls on the bottom and the top. I'm going to do scrolls on the bottom and the top of the cross, and I got as far as splitting all of the fishtail on the bottom, and then I was just like at the time because I was at home when I did all this, and I was if I don't know if you guys noticed, but I was because of the heat. What I decided to do is I would get started at about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and I'd work in the shop till just about daylight, and then I would go to bed, and then I would sleep till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, which is like the cooler. It slowly heats up during the day, and by about 2 o'clock, the air conditioner in my little donut carton is struggling to not struggling to keep up, but it doesn't shut off. And so during the cooler part of the morning is when I would sleep, and then I'd get up and take care of the whatever stuff I got to do during the later part of the afternoon and early evening, and then start working and get about 9, 10 o'clock at night because it's the only time that's feasible to even think about lighting a fire. Because yeah, last week was the first week we got triple digits. Uh, of course, right after I go, man, I can't believe it's the middle of May and we haven't had a single day over 100 yet. And then the next day it was 101. It's like, oh,
Yeah, it's pretty warm over here already. Um, but yeah, I got to work more with raw. I got to get out to the shop more. There's so many I gots tos. You know, my week has been very, 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 very busy. I mean, I'm talking wake up, go to work, get off, go to work. Because like I keep a lot of the stuff that I do on the side kind of off camera and off mic because nobody wants to hear about crypto. Nobody gives a shit about what I do outside of blacksmithing or my electrical stuff. But this project that I'm working on, it's extremely labor intensive. I'm talking I'll get off of work at about 5 and then do my job reports and debriefing with Jay and Jeannie, and then I'll be like, all right, I got to go to work, and I'll come here in my room and power up my computers. Hell, I've got a secondary monitor here, and my TV completely unhooked because I haven't watched TV or watched a movie or watched a show or played a video game in like 3 or 4 weeks. I get off and I'm like, all right, I'm chatting in the community or I am, editing pictures and framing and doing essentially what boils down to repetitive data sorting till about like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And then I go to bed and wake up and repeat the whole process. I've processed in the past few weeks probably about, with my team, about almost 8,000 images that we're working on for a project. And that has been like all consuming. Basically I put on a podcast and just sit here and, hotkeys and mouse movements, just boom, 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 boom for hours on end. Clara, you take care of yourself. You got injured at work, take care of yourself. Good to see you, of course. But yeah, so it's like, that's pretty much been my week. And, when you guys hear me say, oh, how was your week? Oh, not, busy, but not much to talk about. It's because I don't feel that anybody wants to hear about it, So, and once after Adam's gone, I'll go into more about my perspective on what Alexis already let out of the bag. This is
Once Adam's gone, I mean, like, what are we giving him the boot or what?
no. I said once Adam's done with his "How was your week?"
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is going to be about an hour and a half long episode.
Yeah, and that will go into the topic we're talking about, because Adam brought something up we specifically text chatted this morning to catch Adam up with mine and Alexis's conversation from last week, because I didn't want Adam to just come into this and be like blindsided by like, oh, we're blah blah blah, and it's like, where does all this come from? And like, the Pikachu face that he makes, shocked Pikachu face. So yeah, all things considered, how was your week, Adam? Did you get them? Did you get them? You get that gamba grass or whatever, gamba grass taken care of?
I got a little bit more done. I've now got all the way along my 400 meter. Well, what's that? That's 1,200 foot driveway. I've got that all done, and organised to get a bobcat, a skid steer, in a couple of weeks in order to do the rest of the boundary, just to knock it over. I also slashed and mowed around where my workshop frame is in order to complete doing my workshop. So I just need to put up the formwork. I need to jack up the frame about 2 inches, and then I just got to put formwork around and pave the concrete. So I'm just about there. I'm on the final stretch for at least getting the workshop done to get that. Get my stuff moved in, to get everything moved down there and have that space. I'll still need to run power and everything. It's going to be an ongoing project for a little while, but it's getting closer. And of course, Alexis lays back and gets ready to. So that's done. And then those of you that follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I was yesterday. I was actually burning posts, doing a age-old technique. I'm going to, even though here in the Northern Territory of Australia we have a very, very nasty termite problem or termite species called Mastiotermes darwiniensis, which will literally eat through concrete in order to get the timber. I have a lot of standing dead trees on my property, which are, I don't know how many years old and dead. I know they're very hard. Yesterday I've actually killed a chainsaw chain, stretched it past the length of my bar simply because I was cutting a fork out of one of the logs that I intend to turn into a post. And this stuff it's called ironwood for a reason. It was sending sparks whilst I was cutting through it with a chainsaw, and yeah, it got hot and stretched my chain past the bar. And this was after I'd sharp. It was super sharp, and because I basically I can cut 3 limbs or three trunks, and then I have to sharpen my chain. That's how hard this stuff is, and I don't know how old it is, so it's been aged for a long time. So the fact that it's so hard, the termites generally don't eat it if there's softer stuff around. But in conjunction with that, I'm burning it because termites don't like to eat through char, and also I'm spraying it with we call it Termidor, but it's a very strong termite pesticide that's used here in the northern part of Australia because termites generally don't eat through it, and if they do, they take it back to the nest and it takes out the whole nest, which is wonderful. So they're going to be my front fence posts, and I need 36 of them, and I've managed to cut 9. So they're cut and charred. And so I'm in preparation for doing that. It is, of course, here it's coming into the dry season, which is our winter. And so because of there's no rain, it's drying up. I'm getting a lot more people that are starting to use my boundary as a road, and I don't really like that because it's far too close to the house, and also it's my property, not the road easement, which is right next door. So I'm trying to get that fence up in order to stop people, and it's I'll be putting railings at the top so people can actually see that there's a fence there rather than just riding through it, because I don't know if anyone's ever experienced riding into a any sort of wire at any sort of speed, but it's not pleasant because I've done that. And I also, whilst I didn't do any actual forging, I did do forging, but it wasn't. It was more practical forging, and even though we're the Impractical Blacksmith and Alexis, that bracket you made wasn't very impractical. It was more of a practical thing. It was. I had a issue with my ride-on lawnmower where something broke on it, and I had to forge a new piece and then weld things up and get things done that way. So it was more practical forging this week, and not really anything that was overly interesting. I just haven't had the thing. We have the blacksmith challenge that we're all generally part of, being the dry season, and also this time of year, lots of stuff's on. I haven't really had time to focus on it. And the thing that I was going to make, which is the Scottish toilet. I just don't have the space to make it in my current workshop, which is kind of been the catalyst for me focusing on getting a lot of my uh, the task for the workshop and also the fencing done, because I need to build a gate for the front fence. So that's going to be a fairly large task, which I need my new workshop for. And there's also the gate brackets and all that type of thing which I want to forge. So in order to do that, I need the space. In order to have the space, I need to finish my workshop. So it's that necessity of getting things done in order to do more forging. Also, another thing that I really want to do is I want to, and I've started advertising more locally, in order to get, because Speargrass Forge, and a lot of people don't know this, but Speargrass Forge is actually an Australian registered business. I am an actual business. I do have to declare taxes and everything on what I do as part of blacksmithing. So um, in conjunction with my wife, she's also started a small business, which is in a completely different avenue to what I do. She's my wife's actually a holistic counselor, and so she's been ramping up her advertisement, getting a lot more clients and that type of thing along that side of thing. But one of her future plans is actually to have a men's or men or yeah, a men's mental health um, group, um, because we're in a rural area and we're 45 minutes out of the city, or the closest main part of the city. So we're classified as rural, and a lot of people here, in order to get any sort of mental health assistance, have to travel into town. So she's kind of set that up out here. And like I said, one of her future plans is actually to start a men's mental health group. Um, and her hope is that my workshop will become a space where men can hang out in a less clinical type situation, and whether we're working on a project or just chatting, um, have a space that's out, that's not a bar or something like that, where men can get together and just blurt it out. And she's got the qualifications to be able to provide advice and stuff like that, but I'll be there as the blacksmith, the worker, whatnot, but the focal point. So like in conjunction with that, I've been promoting my business locally, which means I also need the space. I need to be up amping up production and not that type of thing, which mean the last month or so I've also been looking into a lot more projects which are saleable, which is, I mean, it's I'm getting a lot of positive feedback about the incense burners, these things that I've made, which I did as part of the blacksmith challenge. It's been great. But it's one of those things where a lot of focus for me has been going in that. I've also been focusing a lot more on my book. Every night this week I've done some work on my book in order to get that, because that's a passion project of mine as well, which I hope helps out the community. I'm very community focused. I'm realizing I'm very outwards in trying to help other people, but it's also show season here. Being the dry season, being no rain this weekend, we had Fred's Path Rural Show, which unfortunately I wasn't set up to do this year. I really wanted to do so, but that's been another motivation of I need to get stuff together and sort out for next year to be able to do that. And that looks really cool, Alexis.
Thing there, just flips right on and got a small hole in it so I can screw it to the bracket. But yeah, that's what I made. I made 2 of those out of a piece of tubing. So,
hey, that's actually really cool in my opinion, because that's bringing the ancient art of blacksmithing to make something modern, useful for modern things. Like it's a juxtaposition of ancient meets new technology, which is really cool.
it's not something, and the thing is, it's not something you can buy. I mean, like, you can't get a metal phone bracket because they don't make. They're all plastic. And my phone my phone case is magnetic, and so which the only time that's not awesome is when I stick it to the fender of my truck and forget it's stuck to the fender of my truck and drive away. That's the only time that's kind of a bad thing. But whoops. Yeah, I mean, so you can't buy a metal bracket. If you want a metal phone bracket, you got to make it.
Yeah,
because I mean, like metal. you know what it would cost to make those out of metal? No, we're gonna 3D print those bitches.
And if it were metal, it would be like cheap cast aluminum or something.
Yep.
With a little steel inset for a magnet.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll say I have a magnetic one because I've got a ring on the back of my case, and that's made of metal. And the actual the bracket I've got in my car is the magnet itself. So that's the only other option that you've got. So yeah, I like what you've done, Alexis. I might just appropriate that idea myself.
See, I can't do that.
Handy. And see, and the reason it's got the little shelf on the bottom, like the notch, because I do have one of these that doesn't have that, and it's got more of a this way, and it sits on the dash like that, and the phone just sits on top of it. And I put leather on the 2 edges of it so it doesn't slide around, and that's fine and dandy. But like I said, I can't see the phone; it's just facing up at the ceiling that way, but it stays there. But anyways, the notch is there so that the hitting bumps or whatever, the phone doesn't just slide down the bracket. It sits in the little thing, and it won't go anywhere. So,
and your charger cable can fit up in the notch.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to do magnet brackets, but I switched to wireless charging, and the little plate on the back of the phone would interfere with the wireless charging. So, so what it is, So,
yep.
On to more of the topic. I don't know if we're nervously skirting around it or what. But Adam, sounds like you got your hands full as well. To let everybody know that hopped in that didn't know, that just see the title, and is, well, what's going on, Alexis, at the beginning of the show, you shared a lot of what your feelings and everything was. And I think I should also, I will say that on my screen, on my monitor readout, I keep getting the little wheel of death. So if we cut out here and there, I apologize. But yeah, on my feelings towards the directions and where things are and where things have been and where things can go. It's hard to stretch out topics when you've covered so many topics. We've been doing this together now for 2 to 3 years, 3 years, 4 years, 4 years together. I've been live streaming on a weekly basis in one form or another for 7 years, over 7 years. I wouldn't call this isn't, and for the record, this is not burnout on my case. I don't feel bad. I'm happy to hop on and chat with people and hang out. But and we did very well structuring the show with topics and a routine and all of that. And we've had some amazing episodes over the years. The entirety of last year with the history of civilizations and everything was eye-opening to me, and actually drew me into some real interesting side passion, I don't want to call them projects, but little research and interest things. My YouTube algorithm has gone from like random comedy to, I get architectural design video recommendations. I get geological recommendations, evolutionary recommendations, and I'm finding myself going down those rabbit holes. And so it's been a positive net outcome for me to help expand my mind. And so the issue that I see us having is continuing to do a weekly show when we have exhausted all possible topics within the three of our experiences, without actively seeking weekly or bi-weekly special guests to have them talk for us, which, number one, is done to death on multiple other podcasts or shows. It would just be adding another voice to the static that is a niche topic. While I am 100% of the opinion that all points of view and multiple points of view on the same topics is important, I don't feel that we collectively add enough to the lexicon that we're not just repeating what's already been said dozens of times. So yes, Jack Pines put it in a great way. Maintaining enthusiasm in well-covered topics is hard. Now, if we were I was going to say, if we were on the cutting edge of metallurgical technology, where we are discovering new techniques and creating new alloys and creating new products, that would be a much easier topic to go over,
And it's like it's like when I brought up the whole idea of metal of the week and we started doing that segment or whatever, like for me that was exciting because a lot of I didn't all that shit wasn't off the top of my head. I had to go research it, look it up, and I learned about this stuff, and then I told you guys about it, and I was excited to do that. And then
it was fun.
don't get me wrong, towards the end there, it was kind of getting to be a stretch because I'm like, shit, I'm running out of metal.
We literally went over every metal.
Yeah, no, I know. Every alloy I could think of, every element I could think of. I mean, hell, I touched on gallium, on mercury, on uranium. You know, I mean, yeah, you name it. But I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, that's why last year was history, is because like we just kind of ran out of shit to do, and it's like, well, I guess we could do this one again. I guess we could do that. You know, and honestly, I think some of our, you know, in my opinion, our better material is just unscripted conversation. But you know,
But and see, and that's where to a certain degree I'm relatively unique, because I've got, like, I mean, you know, everyone knows I'm kind of the resident historian slash, you know, amateur archaeologist,
Archaeologist,
and yeah,
professional
so
archaeologist.
no, not professional. But I literally have thousands of years worth of information to draw on, and you know, just in my research from a book, I've got what 200 years of information at my fingertips. So you know, I have a lot of, and because that's also a passion project for me, and something I'm really enthusiastic about it. Talking about it for me is really easy, just like talking science for you, Alexis, is really easy, you know, because it's something you're passionate about, and you get onto that run, and maybe to a certain degree we're also on the spectrum in the sense that we get excited about these things, but overall, you know, it's I also fully understand, because I watch people's, when I start talking about blacksmithing in regular conversation with people, I watch their eyes glaze over, you know. So, you know, I can also understand how there's some of our viewers which love our individual topics and stuff like that, and how there's also a vast majority of people that eyes might glaze over, or also their eyes glaze over when we're talking about stuff that has been covered and rehashed by just about every podcast smith on YouTube, all that type of thing. The only other option that we have is to go into more detailed or more advanced stuff, which I can also understand the perspective of, you know, whilst we are all experienced smiths, trying to explain an advanced technique on a podcast or a talking head show like this, is, without the actual physical demonstration, is exceedingly difficult.
Whereas
So
somebody could go to a YouTube video or a demonstration at their local Abana organization and get triple the amount of information in half the amount of time by physically seeing
yeah,
it and physically doing it.
Yep. And it's a show, tell thing. And, you know, so, I mean, I'm still going to be talking history on this podcast, whatever form it happens to take in the future, because quite simply, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, I mean, like, the perfect example is that I still check at least once a month whether that report on the Port Arthur archaeological dig that I visited I think I visited last year, and they've been doing it since 2020. So it's 4 years now. I still check monthly on how that's going. So,
Yeah.
you know, like that's I'm invested in what I'm invested in. So,
and
you know,
well, I mean, it's not that we don't want to be here. Well, it's just that it. Okay, so like over the last 2 years, we pigeonholed ourselves into a monthly topic, you know, and okay, so when we did history, that
That
was
was a
fairly
broad
easy
topic.
because
Yeah.
it was broad and we could break it up into four segments. And then this year we decided, oh, we're gonna, you know, start doing tools and whatnot, and it's like a month on anvils, a month on, you know, I mean, like
Airflow.
just trying airflow. I mean, like, holy shit. I mean, like, it's like after a week, we're like, what are we gonna do for the rest of the month?
Yeah.
And then
Now,
we get in here in the morning, and we're like, what are we gonna talk about that we haven't already covered? I mean, we're only on week 2, and we're already out of shit to say, you know, concerning the topic. So we did kind of pigeonhole ourselves into a bad spot, I feel like, um, just
yeah,
because it's like,
of lack of better ideas,
eh,
lack of more experience to talk about things. We are spinning wheel of death right now. There, it's back.
Well,
Now,
I'm not getting any lag on my end there,
Yeah,
Jammers.
the,
So
Okay.
the YouTube stream is solid. So
okay. So I would like to say a few things. Number one, I do not consider this project, this experience, this show, this presentation as a failure. When we were discussing early on years ago what to do with this show, my original idea was to create a show for the community, by the community. And we opened it up on Discord to allow anybody that is watching, anybody at all, to hop on and be a part of the show. You know, when originally when I did that, Alexis hopped on and became a staple. I recall you going, "Oh, I don't know if I'm, interfering or anything like that," and welcomed opened arms as a co-host. Adam, same story, you know. And that kind of put it in a position where it's like we have three hosts, and I don't know if it's that nobody else really wanted to hop on, or that people felt what's the word, intimidated to hop on and be a part of the show. But regardless of the fact, it turned into what it turned into. Three people sharing experiences and discussing, blacksmithing with a group of people who love talking about blacksmithing. As per the case, it devolved is the wrong word, because that has a negative connotation, but it became a weekly gathering place where we would be talking our topics, and the chat, if I go back, one in every 20 comments is actually about the topic that we're talking about, with the exception of a few shows where the topics seem more interesting, and the exception of a few shows where we're just rambling on and people are talking about, whether or not I'm wearing pants. Now
he did notice.
see that's funny, but Yamez only wears shorts. So
I don't wear. I think I own 2 pairs of long pants, and I don't put those on until it's 30 degrees. Now, so what we're getting at with this ultimately, and Alexis and I had discussed this last week, all of this combined, the feeling of we're just going through the motions. There's not enough to talk about. Our draw has gone from 60 people average to 10 people average. And do not get us wrong. We love each and every one of you for being here. We give Ben Toombs a lot of shit, but Ben Toombs has been following this channel as long, if not longer, than every single other person that is in here. Okay.
yep.
Week in and week out, every video that is put out by Island Metal Forge, Ben Toombs is behind it, as a viewer and a commenter. Okay, so this is not to
And
say,
we've only had to mute him twice.
yeah, this is not in any way, shape, or form to say, oh, we don't have the viewers to keep going. That is not the case. That is, we love being the hosts of everybody's Sunday morning, but what we're getting at is we are debating on breaking away from the, having to have a topic, having to have a set topic every single week. So we were discussing, and Adam, this would be new to you, I think, going to every other week. It opens up our weekends to be able to do things. It opens up the time span between how was your week. Well, what'd you do this week? Not much, you know. And it brings it from that 1 week there's 2 of us, 1 week there's 3 of us, occasionally there's only 1 of us,
And
to
you're right.
every episode will be the 3 of us not having a topic or not having a
And
fully set, having to have research planned out topic, but more of us hopping in and be like, so how you been? What you done? And discussing our lives as blacksmiths and how
my
we
thoughts
live
on
it.
that, like that's I brought that up last week there, Yamis. I mean, it's like, our shows with Adam are immeasurably better than the shows that we do that's just me and you. I mean, it's
And
it's there's so much more substance. There's so much more talk about, and I mean, like I've just always felt like when it's just me and you, we kind of struggle to fill air, and not have dead air, and it's not always like that, but it's sometimes like that, and it's like it's
it happens
frustrating to me.
enough that it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating when I just can't come up with anything. I'm just like, we're sitting here and you're like, yeah, and you're struggling to fill dead air, and I'm like, I have no idea what to say. I mean, and we
And
wind up
I just ramble.
yeah, and we wind up in this situation where it's like, well, we're trying to just fill space,
Yeah.
and when Adam's there, I mean, it's a lot easier. There's 3 of us, you know what I mean. It's easier to do. And my thoughts last week is, if we take the idea of a topic out of it, I mean, don't get me wrong, each one of us can have some shit we want to talk about, or something we want to bring up, or an idea or something like that. But the idea was kind of like more like your like morning talk show radio thing, where the hosts or co-hosts or whatever all come in, and they just and they just have a discussion about the day or whatever, and I always found those types of discussions enthralling. I don't know, so
Yep.
Um,
And look, just from this short discussion, look, really, for me personally, nothing's going to change because, and I guess that kind of comes into, like you said, it's not so much burnout, but a certain amount of disinterest in the sense of I'm bi-weekly. I hate the term bi-weekly because it makes me think 2 times a week. I'm fortnightly as it is. I'm I go, week on, week off because I'm at work every other week. So I don't have to put up with the every week grind that you guys do. So I can fully appreciate where you guys are coming from. So
mhm.
this also brings me on to the other topic, which has kind of been floated for the last couple of months. But I think would be really, really fun is particularly maybe on our off weeks, but particularly of a Sunday evening for you guys or for those that are available, right? And I've actually been looking into the background, Yamez. Sorry, but you move as fast as a week tired snail on some things. And I actually have some downloads and stuff like that for D&D one shots. So
Yeah,
of an evening
after the
time.
show, we
Yeah,
can go over it, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like like particularly 5 or 6 p.m. your guys, which is generally, even 7 p.m., which is generally 6:30, 7 o'clock a.m. for me, when I either get home from work or before I go to bed, which is an evening time for me too, per se.
Are you a DM?
That's I not really. I've never done it before, but I
Okay.
can. I've got all the stuff, so
Okay.
there, But everyone's got to start somewhere. But that's something we can either do. If we want to continue doing some sort of content every week, we can have our Impractical Blacksmiths on my weeks off, and we can have like one shots every, or even eventually, as we get more experience, ongoing campaigns of an evening time on whatever day that we decide to choose. Sunday works well for me, but whichever. Of an evening time, we can have that more expansive, or D&D, whatever, blacksmith play D&D, or blacksmith versus gamers, or whatever. And do something else, do something different, do something that's interesting, but breaking up the monotony, per se. And like I said, these are just, and this is what I'm talking, what Yamez and Alexis were talking about our discussions having a more natural flow pre-stream, is because literally this is things that are just popping into my head right now. Because like I said, I'm not affected by this change into fortnightly shows for the Impractical Blacksmith, because I'm fortnightly anyway. I'm only here once every 2 weeks, so I'm not experiencing the same level of drag, per se, that Alexis and Yamaz are experiencing, because I can't be here every week. But lately, when this show is going live on the other week, on my week on, I'm lucky to go on my lunch break when it's ending. And there's been a few times where I popped in and gone, "Hey, how's it going? Too easy?" And they're giving final thoughts. Or at best, even if I am able to, be there for the start of the stream, which has happened as well, I'm on a half-hour lunch break. I get to eat, have it, I have to physically leave my office, go downstairs, eat, have some, have a smoke, have a drink, whatever. And half an hour when I'm at work goes like that. It's gone. It's gonna it's far too quick, and that's also, go on the bathroom and whatnot as well. So, being able to contribute on my weeks on in a meaningful way is next to impossible for me. So, like I said, I'm not experiencing that what you guys are. So I completely understand,
Yeah.
the struggle. And
I wouldn't even categorize it as a burnout. It's more of a, we want to put on a better quality show, and if that means putting on less quantity and to aim for better quality, we'll try that first.
And I mean, if you really think about it, this is just another chapter in what we've been doing the whole time. I mean, even if you look back at the original format of this, which was Tim doing a fireside chat or whatnot and talking about all sorts of things. And I remember when Tim was talking about robotics, so
Yeah.
this has always been a platform and a channel for random talks and stuff like that. Then you took over Yamez and you were doing it by yourself for a little while, and then Alexis and I got in, and it's always been an evolution. And then we got onto the regular topics, so to speak, and then we got into history. So this is just another evolution of what we've been doing the whole time anyway.
And I'm going to go into that too, because I've got some feelings that I kind of should let out. Stuff that's been behind the scenes and all that.
Oh no, you hate me.
No, it's. I will start out with saying yes. This talk show has started when Tim left YouTube and passed the show on. Let me preface all of this because this may piss people off. I don't know. If it does, I apologize. If it does, look into yourself to find out why it pisses you off. Okay? Before getting pissed off at me. Okay? Originally this show was to continue the tradition of the Sunday morning church for Big Dog Forge. I was chosen for multiple reasons. Number one, I was one of the few that was willing to do it. I was one of the few willing that was set up to do it. And yeah, so there's that. When the official changeover happened, I had been in constant contact with Tim in the background. And the plan was to release a dual video of me working on a project. I made my very first Damascus. Went to a shop that had a power hammer, and recorded what I think was one of my greatest videos ever. And then I sent that to Big Dog Forge, and the intention was he was going to take that and make that into a knife and announce, and then send it back to me or keep it or whatever, and announce that that knife would be given away on the very first show for Island Metal Forge Sunday Morning Gathering. And he would announce the transfer of, like, hey, you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that tune in every week to watch me, I'm taking a break. Yamez is taking over. Go subscribe to him. And, there we go. Win a chance to win this, knife between the two of us, symbolizing a tie-in between the two channels. I sent the knife, and as you guys know, you have no clue what video I'm talking about, because that video was never aired, because the second part of that video was never made. The channel just switched with no notice, no news, no announcement, to thousands and thousands of people. Big Dog just stopped doing it. And to those few who actually paid attention, they knew that I took over. But it never happened. The transfer of the torch, so to speak, never actually took place. And I had kept in contact with Tim, and he'd check in, and at a point it was me just doing like what he did, reading the chat and talking. And there was a episode years ago with Gordon Farmer, and where he released a video of him using all galvanized metal to make a coal forge in his very heavily populated backyard in a very heavily populated part of England or the UK. And he told in the video, I learned everything I know from Island Metal Forge. He's the guy that taught me how to do this. Go check out Yana's blah, 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 blah. And it's him basically poisoning his neighborhood. And I, in the nicest way possible, live, told him to take the video down, and that was a very inappropriate thing to do. Basically implicating me in, a major health concern. And I explained it, and Tim had popped in at that point when I was chastising him and sent me a long message, yelling at me about it. And it shook me, you know, and so I changed things up, and the show became what it is now. On occasion, Tim would pop in, and all would be good. We'd be chatting, and a couple weeks ago on the show, we let our first cuss word slip mid-show at the exact moment. Huh?
I don't know about first, but you know.
Yeah, on the exact moment that Tim popped in, and he got pissed. And Tim, I love you for everything that you've done for the blacksmithing community and done for me. I will say, and again, I don't know if you're watching. I don't know if you're going to see this. I will say, when you passed the torch to me unofficially, and over the years, this has become my show. And then when Adam and Alexis joined, this has become our show. Okay. The blacksmith, or the blacksmith church with Big Dog Forge, has been gone for years. If you would like it back, nobody is stopping you. Okay. But we have our standards, you have yours. So,
and to be fair, right, I'm Australian, and anyone who knows how Australians speak, we swear every third or fourth word. Okay, sure, not so much in a professional capacity, but in a personal capacity. If you guys heard some of our pre-stream conversations, I swear like a trooper. I really do. It's F this, and I use liberal use of the C word, right? I really have to tone it down for this stream, and it's also part of the reason why I pause and stutter sometimes, because
you're trying to edit
where
yourself.
I would usually, yeah, that's usually where I would throw in, you know, a cuss word, because it is truly part of. It's weird. There are a lot of high-ranking Australians, and you see stuff on Australian television, and there's not much swearing. Okay,
Now
there is a public face and a private face to Australia, and even politicians swear like troopers when they're not on camera.
I will say, and again, Tim, if you're watching and you are still watching, we have kept this show family friendly. We have kept this show family friendly. We have avoided major contentious, major controversial topics. Even though we have had more than enough chances to bring them up and discuss them. So we still maintain that level in honor of you, and we are not going to change that and become a, you know, non-family, uncouth show. Okay. But to be honest, that's more for YouTube's benefit than it is for the sensibilities of our audience. Because our weekly audience of 12 people probably curse a lot more than we do. You know,
and every one of them is over 30.
Yeah. So,
and let's be honest. Our target audience is adults.
Yes.
And
typically adult males.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm really thankful for our particular community, in the sense of we don't just have adult males. We have adult males. We have trans people. We have we have
females,
LGBTQ
males.
people,
Yes.
and we have females, and we do have young Smiths that do listen, and you know, we have people with families, and that, you know, I'm sure, I know that there have been people that have this on their TV or computer and stuff like that, with children running around. So we do try to keep it relatively clean, but also taking the fact that their parents are Smiths. And I'm sure those kids have heard an expletive as a piece of hot iron had flown out of the shed doors.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, even though I'm not in the practice of turfing things out into the paddock because I'll run over them with the lawnmower. We've all had that frustration moment where we've just screamed out an expletive, and
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
with that, I had misgivings on even bringing that up, bringing all of that to the surface level. That specifically the beginning of that monologue of mine has that, among some other things, has been on my mind for years. Okay. There are other things behind the scenes in a similar vein that have been driving forces keeping me down. Okay.
colorful adjectives, that's the way to put it.
Yeah. So it's been, this was not meant as a call out or as a any sort of negative. I don't want anybody going to Tim and be like, oh, it's nothing to do with
We
it.
loved him. We loved him, and we have
it's
an
literally,
absolute.
yeah, it's literally just, I have to let you guys know where my mind came from for this show, to let you guys know where our minds are going with the show. And ultimately we tried to, and successfully turned years of a great talk show, excellent topics, excellent back and forth. Yeah. But we are ultimately going to be cutting down to, twice a month, every other week. And the format of the show will be a smidge less structured. If we have a topic, we'll talk about it. Other than that, it'll be more of a talking about what's going on in our lives. A little bit more open-ended and less constricted. It will not just be about blacksmithing. You guys may hear about crypto. You guys may hear about yard work. You guys may hear about trans rights. It will be us talking about what's important to us. Okay. And knowing that we have, a small group of core people that know us, like almost every single person in this chat right now has met us personally. Okay. I don't think you guys will mind if we talk about what's going on in our lives, what's important to us, what drives us to keep going, what is holding us back from trying to continue, So,
and I think on that vein, you're going to hear a bit more controversial topics too. Let's be honest. And I think it's about time I share a bit of information about me publicly. And this is something that Yamez and Alexis knows. And look, I am risking probably a little bit of backlash here, but I am not. Everyone here knows that I'm married. What people don't know is I'm ethically non-monogamous. I'm polyamorous. My wife has a boyfriend, and I have a girlfriend. And Alexis was very, very brave years ago, coming and sharing with everyone about their coming into themselves and becoming who they were standingly, and has grown amazingly since that announcement. And so this has always been a place for safety, in my opinion, and for people to be themselves. And so we've talked about mental health, and we've talked about all that type of thing, and I think this is going to expand more into that, and being a community place. We're going to talk. I'm sure we're going to talk more about mental health, and I kind of alluded to that with what my wife's doing and all that type of thing, and that having a space to show we're always going to be blacksmithing centric. We're always going to be all about the metalwork. But everyone here is so much more than just a blacksmith. You're people with families. You're people, we have had people that have had people pass. And, I remember when Pastor Jack's wife passed, and that was a very sad time, and we are not just people that talk about smithing. We are people that support each other, no matter where you are in the world. We are here to talk. There is literally someone available 24 hours a day because of this community. That we might always see eye to eye on certain topics, but
and that's fine.
Hey, yeah, and that is absolutely fine. I don't have to like everything you do to be your friend. And you are, if you're in the US and it's midnight there, and look, it's something that Thomas Goodymoot has done, and I really appreciate Thomas as well. And it's been middle of the night there. He's been out in his workshop and he's given me a call because he's had, it's been my morning or whatnot, and he's had a question or something that he'd like input on, and so he's given me a call, and that's been absolutely awesome. And that's how this community works, because we are all over the world. There is someone that's available to talk to you, no matter the topic, no matter the situation.
I want to touch on that just a little bit. Thomas has saved my bacon on more than one occasion. Because I mean, I am not the most stable person, and no, I mean, okay, maybe I was just maybe I was overstating the obvious, but I mean, on occasion, I just wind up spiraling into a state of a panic attack or depression or something like that, and I know when it's happening. You know what I mean? It's not something that just slowly happens, and then I just don't know how I got here. No, I know it's coming, and I know it's going to get bad, and Thomas has been there for me more times than I can count, because he's up late, and it's usually late in the evening when that stuff happens to me. And I'll just send him a text, "Hey, are you busy?" That's it. And then he'll call me, "Hey, what's up? What can I do?" And he just he's done this enough times for me that he knows he just needs to talk about something else. Whatever the hell it is I'm thinking about isn't important. But he'll ask me questions about doing this or doing that, or what's my thoughts on using bacon grease as a smithing finish, or whatever. But
that's a great idea.
All it takes is a 15-minute conversation about something completely unrelated to what was spinning around and around and around in my head, and I'm fine. You know what I mean?
Whereas,
I needed my mind to do a redirect, and Thomas knows this. Because I did explain it to him a long time ago, and I can't count the number of times where and I'm not gonna bother him. I'm not gonna just call him up and be like, "Hey man, I need to talk to you." No, I'm just gonna be like, "Hey, are you busy?" Because if he's busy, I'm not gonna, I mean, like I got 3 or 4 people I can, I've got a list, and Thomas is at the top of that list because he's really good at redirecting my brain somewhere else, and keeping me from spiraling into a really bad place. So I really do appreciate that. He's an amazing individual for that.
Mm. And as Durain said, blacksmithing is the only thing I've found where you only work at judge, and that's true. There are people out there that have certain, like I said, not everyone agrees on certain things, And I look, and it's one of the reasons why I don't talk about my relationship style very often is because it's massively judged, right?
let me put something this way, okay? And this is kind of to both of you guys and to all of you guys out there. I live my life. I have my lifestyle. Okay, I am happy with who I am. I am secure in who I am. Yes, I have my ups and downs. That's just the way my brain works. And I have my opinions on things. Okay. These two are my friends. What they do in their personal lives has zero effect on what I do in my personal life. I could care less. It doesn't change who they are as a people. As a matter of fact, it it's only a small portion of who they are. Okay. Adam is a great friend. You know, he's there when I need him. Alexis is a great friend. Has been for a long time. She's there when I need her. Okay. Admittedly, I don't need a lot. I'm a very low maintenance friend. But it's like, while I may or may not agree with a person's personal choice lifestyle, and again, to you guys, it's not to say that I don't agree with your personal life. It's just a general statement, you know. It doesn't change who you are as a person to me. Like Alexis, when you first came out to me, you know, you were so worried that I was going to reject you and say no. It's like, you do you, boo. I could care less. You know, I'm here for you. You're my friend. You know.
But I came into this thinking everybody was going to. You know, I mean, like
Yeah.
I expected to walk this path all by myself, and everybody else not wanting anything to do with me ever again. I was pleasantly, completely wrong about that. But you know,
Yeah. And it comes back to what I was saying before, in the sense of we're all smiths, but we're all complete people outside of smithing. And so what I can see this show is also becoming that too. It's not just
What's up, monkey?
it's always going to be smithing centric, but it's going to be you know, we're going to cover more of the other stuff too. You know, we're going to be
That
talking,
makes us people.
yeah, and we're going to be asking how you guys are, and you know, if we get challenges or questions on the emails or whatnot about mental health, or we've come across a situation where it's important, you know, and we'll do shout outs about, you know, people's marriages and kids, and make it more of a blacksmithing variety show is what I can see it happening. And talking about, you know, important things like mental health and physical health. I mean, I remember when we covered stretching and, you know, and Forge Fitness, you know, and that was years ago now, but, you know, at the time it was pertinent. And I remember I was still living at my previous place, Finn Road, and I had to wear a arm brace because I got blacksmith elbow. And that's the reason why the topic came up. And then I believe not long after that, Roy smashed his thumb open with a hammer, you know, and you know, so we had a period of time where people were getting injured, and it's kind of like, okay, this is an important topic to talk about, you know, and
and,
I just saw a variety show with dancing.
I was gonna,
hey, Mr. Maker.
I was gonna say we've done 2 shows with that are like mental health centric, and both times everybody's like, oh man, really? You know, and it's like and everybody just bailed right at the beginning of the show. It's like, yeah, I'm not sticking around here talking about crazy people. I'm out.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that only happens when we announce what we're talking about. If it happens in natural conversation, like, you know, like what we're doing now, you know, it becomes a more natural conversation.
You can't, because something we've learned is you can't force a structured topic around, you know, like week in and week out. So if that's the point of what we're getting at with our new format for our show. We've got the dancing. If a topic comes up naturally, that's the topic, you know. if it doesn't, and it's just us sitting here chatting about, like, oh yeah, that ironwood, I'm fascinated by hearing more of that. I'd like to get me some of that just to play with it, just to have some. I'd like, if you can cut me a 1-inch disc of ironwood to hang on the wall, I think that'd be pretty cool, if it doesn't destroy a blade.
It's also got to pass your import freaking
right,
border security because it's yeah.
You need a laser.
Yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, so I mean, to
I was gonna go.
no, I was gonna kind of okay. Go ahead with your thought. I was gonna kind of focus the show back to.
I was about to chase a possum with the whole ironwood thing. Ironwood isn't. It is one of the hardest, densest woods in the world. Okay.
Me too.
And yeah, we know. Blockhead. But it will dull. You know those really big industrial circular saws in like wood mills and stuff like that. It will dull a full grown, a regular, say 1 foot wide tree, right? Will dull one of those industrial circular saws in one pass.
That's why I want it.
They're ridiculously hard, and I will get a new saw blade. I will cut you some their yamas, and I will send you some. Right, I'll send you some cookies of ironwood, right? And you'll see okay. If anyone remembers the mallet challenge, right? The make your own mallet that was done by Donut. My wooden mallet is made from a limb of ironwood, right? And I can forge with that mallet.
I was gonna say, I know somebody that's made a knife out of ironwood, like a folding pocket knife out of ironwood, and it's sharp.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I will send you some, Yamith.
Cool. So and just a reminder, I do not have a PO box anymore.
Okay. That's right. I should have your address floating around.
Yeah. If you need it, just hit me up. So with that, we can talk to death. I believe we've gotten our point across, and this episode today is a perfect example of how good a show can be when we don't handcuff ourselves to a topic. Okay, I like to think that the three of us had a lot of fun today discussing this, and going over what's been on our minds rather than, no, we can't talk about that, it's not on topic, So
Sorry about the squirrels. This is getting back on topic.
Yeah.
Squirrels already.
We enjoy the squirrels, and we are going to embrace the squirrels moving on. Might even make a squirrel our mascot. All right, Ben, I got a costume being made for you.
Nah, that would actually be cool. A squirrel standing behind an animal with a hammer and tongs.
You broke up.
Or better still, a possum.
What's with the possum though?
Yeah.
Well, see, you guys have opossums, and we have possums, right? Which are they're similar, not the same.
It's spelled different.
POSSUM.
Yeah. It's just spelled different.
Yeah, right.
It's the same animal.
They're a different species of animal. But
unless
anyway,
okay. Possums may be poisonous over there or venomous over there. Who knows? They also may know how to use. They also may know how to use machine guns.
But what I'm saying is, so it's something that is common to both our countries, right? And chasing possums, they both live in trees, all that type of thing. So and sometimes they can look a bit raggedy. so, and so I thought, chasing possums is a little bit more universally able
No,
to
because that's not
click.
something that's not a saying. I mean, like at least not here, anyways. And you
Chasing
wouldn't chase a
squirrels.
you wouldn't chase
Y-
a possum because they're
They
slow. They're like a sloth. You can just
and
walk
they
over and pick one up and it'll hiss at you. You know,
yeah,
Okay.
you chasing squirrels because squirrels are fucking fast. You can't catch them, and you're always just like running
and
around. You're chasing, that's the chasing squirrel. But,
and the saying is, ooh, a squirrel. You know,
ooh, a squirrel. Because I
um,
got distracted. I saw a squirrel. Yeah.
all right. So, but back
Anyway,
to it though. Yeah, perfect example, right there. Perfect example. Um, to move on to the final thoughts, and this maybe our last official final thoughts. You know, if we're moving to a
Now,
more
I reckon
final
final
thoughts
thoughts
and
are a good thing to
okay.
keep going because it sums up the show.
Yeah. Okay. So our final, moving on to final thoughts because we are at an hour and a half here, um, and I've got
and Jack's
work to do.
not on today, so
Jack's not
we
on
don't have.
today. Yeah, it's not like a hard
Uh,
out or anything. I've got work to do. I've got doors opening and closing. I got to figure out what's going on. Plus, it's getting to the heat of the day here, and I've got my windows open, and it's I'm starting to sweat in my room. It shouldn't happen. Um, I like to
okay.
think that you
Yeah.
guys are with
My
us
my
on this journey.
yeah. My final thoughts is this show over the last 5 years has been an evolution in um, content, and it's also been an evolution of us. Like all of us have changed immeasurably since each of us became a part of this project. And um, I think moving forward, while we're not going to be here as often, I think the quality is going to be better. We're going to have more to talk about. We're gonna have more interesting conversation. Uh, I think so, anyway.
It'll feel more
And
natural.
exactly, and that's that's where we're going. We're gonna start with every 2 weeks and see how that works. Jack is still gonna be, other than this week, usually. Um, Jack will usually still be going live on Sundays, and so we can all meet up there to have a little chit chat in during his show. And yeah, I mean, I think that'll be good. So we'll still be able to get around and give Ben shit um, every Sunday during Jack's show, and then every other Sunday we'll get together and me and Adam and Yamas can talk about our week and what we made and what we didn't make and touch base with all of you guys and find out what's going on and what's important in your lives as well. So. Um, that's what I got, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks.
And my final thoughts is I'm seeing this as we're kind of coming full circle. We're kind of going back to what the show was in its original inception when Yameth first took over and Lexus and I first joined. Bit more of a variety show, really. But also, the way I see it is, as Alexis said, we've all evolved and changed. It's going to be a place for a bit more open conversation. I also remember a time where there wasn't a day of the week where there wasn't someone live streaming.
I
And
remember
so,
those days.
yeah. And this is also going to allow us to a certain degree, or me particularly, to reset and get my thoughts in order and my not have to focus on so many. I'm not juggling so many balls, so that I will probably I will probably uh be able to live stream, particularly once I get my workshop done. And that this, I mean, my workshop is about 250 odd meters away from my house, and I have planned on clearing a line of sight in order to get a Wi-Fi antenna out there straight down. Stop laughing, Alexis. To get a Wi-Fi antenna down there so I can live stream from the new workshop. But these are things that I have to get done in order to be able to go back to live streaming at a better quality, because I want to put out good content again. I miss my regular videos. I miss going live. I miss interacting with you guys. And I mean, the people that I get on my live streams when I've had Wilson and stuff around have, people love Wilson for some reason. Everyone thinks he's freaking awesome. He's a cool dude. Don't get me wrong, but I want to get back to that as well. And so my takeaway is this is going to be not so much less stress, but less of a brain drain for us as a group, and more of an interactive experience with you guys, and hopefully more fun. Hopefully we get more of the variety
Camaraderie.
of watches back. Yeah, and we get the variety of watches back that we used to, the 80, 90, 100, 120 viewers that we used to have. And the chat was going crazy, talk about all sorts of topics. And yes, we will get some naysayers that will come in and say, oh, what about the blacksmithing?
What about
Well, if
the
you've got
blacksmithing?
if you've got a blacksmithing question, ask it. If we don't have direct answer for you straight away, we have access to people that will, or we'll find it and cover that next week or the next fortnight. So it's going to be interesting. So but also, I will have a chat to Yamez about something after the stream about the one shot blacksmithing.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, one shot D&D. So there will be stuff about that coming up. There will be an announcement for that, I'm sure, sometime in the relatively near future. So anyway.
Yeah. I would like to take this moment before I go ahead and sign us off. I see somebody that just popped into the chat who I have seen in a lot of the video's comments. I do not speak, I'm assuming, Russian. I do know that
I did have a conversation with him in through, I used Google Translate or whatever, and then I may have said a bit much or whatever, because because all of my replies were what do you call it, all of my comments were replies to his. He deleted his comments, and that removed our whole conversation. So
he said greetings from Kaliningrad.
Okay.
Greetings from Australia.
Greetings from the U.S. I'm trying to pull up Google Translate.
He said there will be subtitles, or will there be subtitles? No, will there be subtitles?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've been working on that. So as far as putting after the fact, putting in do the English subtitles.
Is it Russian?
Translating Russian, and yes, it's Russian. He's Russian. So I've been adding German and Russian subtitles after the stream goes live. So
I am going to absolutely butcher this, but my Payatetmia Sildelat Subtitri, I think, which is we're trying to do subtitles, but I'm sure I absolutely butchered that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure owner will let us know if how badly I butchered that.
Right. And
Russian with an Australian accent.
Also, if anybody else, because it's not that hard, but like I said, once this processes and is all on YouTube, I can add the subtitles. I do it live. At least I don't think I can do it live. Well, maybe Yamez can, but in any case, if anybody else wants like, I know we have viewers in several different countries. I know we have like Jurgen is in Germany and owners in Russia, and so it's not it's pretty easy for me to just add German and Russian subtitles if somebody wants it. If anybody comes across this and you want subtitles in your native language or whatever, let me know and I'll add that to the list. It's not that much harder to do. So I have the auto translate for English first, and then once that processes, then I can do it in other languages. So
Yep.
that's all I got on that. Anyways, we were in the middle of final thoughts, and
I
I don't know
just
where
saw
we
that.
were.
I just saw owner pop in, and I'm assuming I'm saying that incorrectly. And
Minnesota subtitles. Oh, we're having a good
yeah,
show,
bud.
don't you know?
Let me see if this is. See if I can do this. I'd have to set up a whole thing. I was trying to find a live translator to where I
Yeah,
could
yeah. I don't.
talk and it would put it out.
Oh, it's not Owner, it's Oleg.
Oleg.
Huh?
That's how you pronounce it, Oleg. So thanks for joining us, Oleg. I'm gonna copy that in Russian as well, so it's in there.
Yes.
So yeah, sorry if I butchered that too badly, Oleg. I don't mean to insult your language. I'm just speak English, and I will let you know what his reply is if you want to go on the final thoughts there, Yames.
Yeah. Go ahead.
He goes, oh, it's a pity that I don't know what we're talking about, but I usually forge it under Led Zeppelin and AC/DC, and in general, rock and roll is alive.
Yes. Yes.
I did see the AC/DC and got that one, but you know.
All right.
Anyway,
Maybe one of these days I'll bust into song again. With that, thank you all for showing up. Oleg, thank you for showing up, and we'll try to accommodate the language barrier. I suppose we could type a Russian summary of, letting them know that we're going to 2 weeks. And we will see you all not next week, but the following week. And yeah, I will let go. And translations to the chat. I don't believe YouTube Studio has that feature.
no.
I know that
We'll
Telegram
we'll
has
find
that
it.
feature.
Yeah.
You kind of got to copy and paste it in and out of Google Translate. So
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, with that, everybody, it has been a blast, and we hope to have it continue to be a blast. And my final thoughts are, big love to all you guys for putting up with us, and to continue, and I hope you continue putting up with us. Have a wonderful day, and have fun. I'm gonna go ahead.
Bye all. See you in a fortnight.